to reframe how we react to experience. So many of us have an impulse to react as either victims or as aggressors when an event or a person does something that upsets us or that is something that derails us. I had an experience at San Francisco State where I was teaching a class. The schedule in the bulletin had me teaching 2 nights a week, 3 hours a class. It was printed. And when I introduced the class, I told them the class was 2 days a week, 3 hours. We were going to meet in this room. And I had prepared all the lectures, and we went about 3 weeks. And I mentioned to the administrator that I needed to stay in the room later because I was teaching this 3-hour class. And she said, no, your class is an hour and a half twice a week, not 3 hours each class. I was amazed. I said, but it's in the bulletin. She looked it up. She said, you know what? This went through 5 different people here, and none of us caught it. You should be teaching an hour and a half twice a week, even though in the bulletin it's printed as 3 hours for each class. Well, my initial reaction was outrage. My initial reaction was, wow, they've really screwed me. But then I stopped, and I thought, this was an honest mistake. And so instead of being angry, I laughed, and I said, how am I going to explain this to the students? I've been keeping them like detention. And she laughed, and she said, you know what, tell them it's our fault. Go in and just tell the students that they only need to stay an hour and a half. Well, I did that, and the students were happy. And you know what? That administrator was happy too, because I did not create a more distressing situation than already existed from an error that was done in good faith. So think about if I had gone in conflict, in righteous indignation, thinking everybody is out to get me, and I would have made her life and other people's lives miserable, would that have benefited me? Instead, I took the opposite track and just looked at this as a laughable incident in which how am I going to explain it to the students was the only question that I really had to ask. So in your life, think about those moments when you react as either a victim or as feeling like you have to be in conflict. And can you reframe it? And if you can, the people around you will look at you completely differently, and really good things will happen.